Hello and welcome to Video Game Hangover. I'm Randy Dickinson and I'm in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Hey, I'm DJ Ross. I am in Mountain View, California.
On every episode of Video Game Hangover, we talk about the games that have been keeping us up at night. This week, the summer backlog attack continues with Banjo-Kazooie and Hades.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey. What's happening?
Yeah. Those two games are two great tastes that taste great together.
Yeah, well, that would be interesting. Would that be like Banjo-Kazooie as a roguelike action game? Or
yeah,
I don't know, would it be the other way around? Just Hades guy collecting puzzle pieces? Or
yeah,
that'd be a very chill thing for him to do. That might be a nice change of pace for him.
Yeah. Banjo is trying to get out of escape from hell.
From hell. Yeah. Yeah, I'd play that one probably.
His friend Kazooie helps him occasionally.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got our next big hit. It's right there. So somebody just get on that.
I'm reminded of that. I forget. I haven't listened to it in a little while. That podcast. I think I talked about it on the episode on the show one time. I think it's called the Amazing Video Game Machine. I'll have to look it up. But it's they have like a randomizer spreadsheet, and they pick a couple of genres and types of games and stories and characters that don't quite make sense and knit them together into some BS game.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and the people who are hosting the show are all video game developers, so they have to like, here's what the setting would be, and here's how it would play, and blah blah blah, based on sort of the random criteria. Let me look it up.
Nice. Well, I mean, we could do that. We just did it like 10 seconds ago.
Yeah,
give us another. Spin the dial again. What do we got?
Turn it into a 40-minute episode, though.
Yeah. Well, we'll work on it a little bit.
The Video Game Robot Show is what it's called.
Oh.
Would recommend.
Okay. Well.
February 2nd, 2024. Hades would have been better if it had Wario in it.
Is that like playing as Wario? Or like Wario?
I don't know. I think I listened to that episode. I gotta go back and listen to that one now.
All right. So you haven't run into Wario yet?
No, unless he's DLC.
No. I feel like Wario should just be releasing DLC of himself for other games, because that's like his thing.
Yes. It's like torturing you with micro games, right?
Yes. It's like Knuckles just inserting himself into every Sonic game. It's Wario, but he's in everybody else's games. And he's just, I don't know what he would do. I don't know if he's doing Wario things, if he's just doing the stuff that you're already doing in the game, but you're Wario now. Somebody should do that.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, more. I don't know if more Wario. Okay, that's hard to say. I don't know if more Wario is the solution to anything.
No, I mean, it's probably not, but he's just trying to make a quick buck or something. Wasn't that what he was trying to do in those games?
He was my main in Donkey Kong World for a little while. Him, because he's one of the heavier characters. These are like the invisible stats.
In Mario Kart?
I said Donkey Kong World, didn't I? Mario Kart World.
Okay. I was like, oh man, somebody else is inserting themselves into other games now.
Yeah, right. Because there's like some hidden stats, and you need like a heavy character kind of hold your cart to the road. Yeah. So I was maining him for a long time, and not my favorite character. I don't enjoy looking at him.
just personality wise, not your first pick. But
I also don't enjoy.
He's got it where it counts.
Right. Yes. He's throwing his weight around.
There was, I don't know how much how much you played Mario Kart DS Online, but I think it had the same kind of deal going on with the weight class system. Like heavier characters could knock other characters off the track, or just like out of position. Unless I think like if you played it online, you couldn't knock other players at all. So the heavy characters just had an immense like speed disadvantage that was supposed to be balanced out by this other attribute that no longer worked for them.
Oh.
So it was dry bones all the time for me.
I did play a lot of Mario Kart DS, but I don't think I was aware of that. That's interesting. Yeah. My YouTube feed is full of people who are like, these secret shortcuts in Mario Kart World will change the way you play the game. I'm like, I can't think about the game.
Yeah, no, I can't deal with it. I've seen a couple of those videos, and it's like, this looks like work. It looks like you have to go and train on Mario Kart.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, just to get up to speed on these things.
There's one YouTuber who, I think this is his bread and butter. His name is Shortcat. The video that popped up the other day was like, it's been out for 2 months and we're still finding shortcuts. Here's 3 new ones I just discovered. I'm like, no, I can't. Unsubscribe.
I mean, I want to know the shortcuts, but not the sort of stuff that they're doing. They're like chaining all these like weird jumps that are not obvious together. Like you go off of a flagpole that's just floating in the middle of the air. And jump into the side of a wall. I'm just like that. I never would have figured that out.
Yeah.
I want the ones that are like, oh, if you go through this barrier that says like no entry or whatever, it's a little faster. Like that's more my speed.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to like shave off a second here or there, but
right.
Yeah. There's some video that he just did that's bypassing like a third of the track in Rainbow Road. And I'm like, okay, well.
Okay, yeah. So it gets to the point where I'm just like, I don't even know if that feels legitimate anymore.
Right. That might not be the way God intended.
Yeah. There's always a point in games like this. Like speaking of Mario Kart DS, like snaking was a real issue in that game.
Yep.
And that was like, if you don't know what that is, it's like basically doing the little drifts, getting the mini turbos off your drifts, but in a straightaway. Like certain carts could just do it. They like turn so sharply that you could just be getting those boosts constantly. So you would just be like swerving left and right on the track all the time. And at that point, that's all you're doing in that game. And it's a huge advantage because you're just getting boosts all the time. But then you have to be playing it in a very mechanically weird way. And it's stuff like that where I was like, at that point, are you playing Mario Kart anymore? Are you playing like this other game where you're just like hitting the D-pad left and right for 3 minutes? And I was like, okay, I mean, it's cool that you can do that. It's cool that people have figured that out. But that's not really the game I want to play. Is that my problem though? I'm just like, stop using your skill to be better at this game than I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's your problem if you ever want to beat anybody in online Mario DS. Yeah.
Right. So I see these people doing these like chain tricks in Mario Kart World. And it's like, well, it's very impressive, and I will never be able to beat you online, but I guess that's fine.
Yeah. I don't know how much, and I've played a lot of Mario Kart World, and I don't know how much the general population is doing all of the wild shortcuts, because I don't see a lot of that happening in the general population. It's certainly very flashy, and it's certainly good for YouTube content, but I think in the course of a normal race, I think people are just trying to, like I said, like shave seconds here or there by taking corners a little tighter, or a secret jump around a corner that everybody sees but doesn't register until you've already zoomed past it or whatever. Yeah, that's a lot of my issue with that kind of stuff, is like I don't think of it until like it goes flying past me at 150 cc's. And I was like, oh, that was the corner I was supposed to do the thing. Oh, that was the jump I was supposed to take to bank off of the flagpole to, skip a third of the course on Rainbow Road or whatever. I'm not thinking about consuming the game that way. I'm just trying to like not get blue shelled to death.
Right. To get as many coins as possible.
Yeah.
The new stuff in Mario Kart World just doesn't even register to me still, like the driving on walls and like bouncing off of little like poles in the environment. I'm just like, I just want to drive on the road. Remember when that was what you did in Mario Kart? I don't know. Yeah. I'm just forcing people to be less competitive so I can just stay in the same game as them. Yeah.
I have sections of tracks in Mario Kart World where I know that there is good wall riding. There's a part on a highway where there's a couple of billboards I can sort of link between. There's a bridge, the drawbridge that goes up and down at some point during the course of the game that you can kind of like circumvent by riding on the rails to the side of the bridge. So like some of those I kind of have like automatic programming, and I know like, oh, as I turn the corner, this is where I do that thing. But it all sort of feels kind of in, me justifying my attempts to win races in Mario Kart World, but it all sort of feels like fair play. It's none of the crazy stuff where it's, I don't know. Yeah. Like things that seem like they should be out of bounds. But for some reason the game doesn't register them that way.
Some of the stuff I've seen feels a little questionable, but like whatever. I'm not on Mario Kart Online 24 hours a day. Sure.
Yeah. It's kind of cool and showy and it's good content, but I don't know that anybody's actually racing that way.
So some people must be, but I don't think I've actually played it online outside of our little game night thing. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No. I love it. It's so good.
Yeah. I just don't know if I need the like whole online thing anymore. Like I played some of the Battlefield 6 beta this weekend, and if you've been listening to the show for a while, you know I am a enormous Battlefield fan. I played a lot of the game back in the day. And jumping back into this, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. I remember playing Battlefield. I remember when I would stay up till like 2 a.m. every night, like during the work week playing this game. And I just feel like, it was kind of fun. I don't really see myself like jumping into online lobbies and playing a lot of this when it comes out, just because I just don't really do that anymore. Just like hop into random games with people. So I don't know. It's kind of the same thing with Mario Kart. I'm like, I'm still perfectly satisfied just playing against the computer. I don't know how much online adds to it. I don't need to, like, I haven't exhausted the amount of enjoyment I get out of playing computer opponents. I don't know if that's the dividing line.
Yeah. Yeah, it's possible. I still can't get like perfect score first place on all of the races at 150 cc's. That's the point where, and even in like the last couple of weeks, they had patched the game to sort of make the calm characters a little easier to beat. And I'm still not able to beat them, unfortunately. So I've unlocked nearly everything in the game except for that final challenge on every single one of the races. So when I pick up my Switch and I want to play a little bit of Mario Kart World, I will try to go back to some of those tracks to see if maybe this is the time that I can land in first place. But I'm good for a second or third, but I can't ever seem to sort of get first on a couple of them. So yeah, I have a little bit of frustration with sort of like single player mode. Whereas if I go online, I can generally speaking, do okay and kind of hold my own in a way that for some reason I've not been able to do consistently with the single player races.
As long as you're not running into one of those shortcut guys.
Yeah. I like the really long elimination races where you start with 24 players and the pool narrows by 4 every milestone on the course. And I'm a consistent, like almost every single time I play, I'm in the final 4. Wow. That doesn't necessarily mean I get to first place, but I'm pretty reliable to hang in there until the end. So that feels very satisfying, but I still can't beat the freaking computer play characters in single player. So I don't know what that means, but yeah, I don't know. It's super fun. I'm still sort of like divining fun out of it. And I still think that there are a lot of places that they can make additional tracks and additional courses and challenges in the game. So I don't know what the roadmap is, no pun intended, for future content for Mario Kart World, but it seems like they would continue to mine content out of this giant open world they've built.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how they handle additional courses. But, man, it feels like this game has been out for so long. But it's been like 2 months, maybe?
Yeah, beginning of June.
Yeah.
So 2.5 months, yeah.
Gotta give people a chance to get their consoles first.
Yeah. Maybe that's what they're waiting for.
Yeah.
But anyway, to the task at hand here, we are kind of working our way through the summer backlog attack. You streamed Banjo-Kazooie last week.
Yes.
Yeah. You'll be streaming Anthem next week.
Yeah, this should be fun. I hope. I think it'll be fun.
Maybe you single-handedly can save Anthem from an early death.
Wouldn't that be something?
So coming up on Monday, August 25th at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, DJ is going to play some Anthem. Go to twitch.tv/VGHangover for that.
Yeah. The next game on my list, or one of the next games on my list, going to spend a little time with BioWare's Loot Shooter, which is scheduled to go offline next year. I'll be playing a fresh character, just going through the sort of like opening missions, and we'll see how it goes. Kind of just want to figure out what this game is about before you can't play it anymore. So I'm hoping at least...
That's not an option, yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping it'll be at least interesting from that perspective, regardless of however, like whatever the game quality ends up being. So definitely tune in for that. And then just as a side note, I'll be streaming the other remaining game on my backlog list, which is the original Unreal, this Friday, August 22nd. So if you're listening to this the day it comes out, that'll be tomorrow. And there'll be more details around that on the Discord. So if you're in there, just take a look in there.
Cool. I don't have any immediate plans to stream any more of my backlog because I don't know that anybody wants to watch me play Hades poorly.
I want to watch play Hades. I've been thinking about jumping back into that myself because it's been a while. But
oh, really?
Yeah, there's just there's so much going on.
Yeah,
had to play all that Battlefield, just didn't have the time.
Cool.
I'm kind of curious about Hades 2, actually, but I think I don't know if that's out of early access yet. But once it is, I was planning on checking it out a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I have thoughts. I inevitably have thoughts about everything, but I have thoughts about Hades. I don't know that I necessarily need a Hades 2 immediately. But I know that most of the world had consumed the first game a long time ago already. So, yeah. I'm the sequel I want more than anything right now is Slay the Spire 2. But
yeah, where is that? Where is it?
I also sort of feel like they can take their time. There's no rush. Once that comes out, I probably won't play much of anything else, honestly. So I have a lot of other games I need to get to before Slay the Spire happens.
That's how I feel about like any sequel.
Oh, really?
like I'm sure it'll happen eventually. It'll be great, but I've got all these other things going on, so I don't need it right away.
Yeah.
I do really want to play that though. I'm like, I got into my head. I was going to try and clear Ascension 10 on every character in Slay the Spire before the new one comes out. And I was like, I don't even know if this is possible for me. Because each new Ascension is like the new like layer of difficulty on it, essentially. But I'm down to like, I've been playing The Watcher, which is the last character. And I think I just got to like Ascension 6. So I'm just like, I mean, I'm running out of Ascensions here. You gotta like wrap up the new game. Because I don't want to go past Ascension 10. That's when it gets really crazy. So that was our Slay the Spire segment for this week.
I would also recommend any of our listeners, if you are a Slay the Spire fan or you are eagerly anticipating the sequel, definitely subscribe to Megacrit's newsletter. I think it's bi-weekly. And there's always some like fan art and kind of behind the scenes stuff from the making of the sequel. They have a recurring segment where they do like the outline of a new character. Or a new artifact from the new game. It's just the silhouette of it. And then people from the community send in what they think that character will look like or should look like. It's been really, really good. They have put a lot of work into this newsletter. It's very satisfying. And you get little nuggets, obviously, of things from the new game. So it's cool. I would definitely recommend if you're just interested in video game making in general, or if you're into Slay the Spire specifically, subscribe to Megacrit's newsletter. It's good.
Should I do that?
I think I usually copy and paste all the good stuff and send it to you on Discord anyway.
Oh, okay, good,
So
good. I got my own curated version.
I will curate. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'll cut out all the chaff and send you the good stuff.
All right, excellent.
Yeah.
Not that there's a lot of chaff to go through.
No,
I'm sure it's all great quality content.
It's mostly wheat, no chaff. Would you like to talk about Banjo-Kazooie? How was your Banjo-Kazooie experience, DJ?
Oh, should we talk about that or should we talk about Hades? I don't know. I mean, we can talk about Banjo-Kazooie. That's fine.
I mean, I can certainly talk about Hades.
Okay.
I think the only solution is we don't talk about anything.
Okay, well, you want to
talk about Slay the Spire
some more? No.
Yeah.
Okay, no, we can talk about Banjo-Kazooie.
Sure.
So I played Banjo-Kazooie last week. I had never played it before. Can you believe it?
I mean, I can. Yeah. As you were playing it last week, I had a little moment where I was like, oh, I think I understand why DJ doesn't play these games.
Oh, what is that supposed to mean?
There's no part of my sort of understanding of how you play video games or what you like about video games that thinks that you want to run around in a world and collect the right number of coins or the right number of gems or the right number of whatever bullshit things the game has tasked you with finding. So yeah, I understand that. I find that feedback loop usually satisfying in a good game. But as you were doing it, I was like, oh, I don't know if DJ's having fun with this.
So I had sort of forgotten that there was such an emphasis, or that this game had acquired a reputation for being like a collectathon.
The collectathon, yeah.
Yeah, or I feel like a lot of the 3D platformers have, I mean, that's just sort of become what the expectation is to some degree. I think like even when I think of like Ratchet and Clank, I'm like, oh yeah, you're just collecting stuff. Isn't that more or less the case?
Yeah, I mean, Ratchet and Clank I would go down this path. Ratchet and Clank can be very combat focused. It's more about upgrading your weapons and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
that's another thing.
The collectathon fuels those upgrades. So you just have to have enough nuts and bolts to be able to get bigger guns and things that go boom.
Yeah. But still, that's like, I mean, there's much more of an emphasis on collecting little like coins or resources essentially than there is in like Mario 64, just to name a completely random example.
Yes, yeah. If you go to the Spyros and the Sly Coopers of the world and all those other kind of this genre of video game, there is definitely a thing you are tasked with collecting as many of as humanly possible.
Yeah. So somehow I had just forgotten about that entire aspect of it. And I feel like even after playing it for a few hours, it didn't feel as like inundated with collectibles as I sort of expected, or as I was like, I don't know, sort of expecting just games in the platformer genre to be. But there definitely is a lot of stuff to pick up in this compared to your typical Mario game. And it goes beyond just like, like 100 coins, pretty standard for Mario or like any 3D platformer, I think. There's at least like 2 or 3 other things per level, like 2 or 3 other sets of things that you have to collect.
Right.
And it wasn't immediately clear how they all fit into the greater sort of like picture of the stuff you're trying to accomplish in Banjo-Kazooie, because it's like, okay, 100 musical notes per level, that's pretty much just coins. But then there's like, you're getting these skulls, there are feathers. Feathers turn out to not really be a collectible, it's more of a power-up.
Yep.
They're like the little the little guys. What are they called?
I don't know what they're called, but they're like little newts.
They're just like 5 little guys who are in the level.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like, are they Banjo's friends? They seem like they're little like animals or something. I don't know.
Little troll people.
Yeah. Like, are they people? Or are they like sentient? I don't know. You got to collect them though. So there's just a lot of stuff.
Right? Are you just rescuing them? I don't think you're collecting them.
I think they're saying like help me or something as you run up to them, and it's like, you look like you're doing fine. I don't know. It just felt like, the first hour or so playing this, you sort of go through the tutorial where you learn all your different moves, and then you are like introduced to back-to-back things that you need to pick up or just be on the lookout for. Like, oh, you need the musical notes, and you need the puzzle pieces, and you need the little guys, and you need some skulls and feathers and all this stuff. I was like, all right, I got my whole shopping list of stuff.
Yes, and you kept hitting the start button or whatever on the controller, and it would bring up your roster of all of your collectibles,
yes.
Multiple screens of these that you had to go through, and you're like, oh, there's 10 of these, and I've only got 8.
Yeah,
so the shopping list continued to grow.
The list on the pause screen shows you stuff that they hadn't even told you about yet. So I was like, oh man, I've only got 1 skull, and I have 0 of these things, which I don't even know what this is.
Yeah.
So I was very quickly reminded of sort of the reputation these things have for being a collectible, a collectathon, rather. I feel like I had a decent time playing this. I don't know if it's changed my stance on 3D platformers in general. I don't know, and I'm still keeping an open mind. Like, maybe I would play something else like this. Like, maybe I should give Ratchet and Clank another shot. But I don't know if this game specifically, like Banjo-Kazooie on the N64, is going to be the one that I spend, hundreds of hours with, because it still is very much like, man, I was going to say an early N64 game, but was it that early? It was like a few years into it. It plays like an early 3D game from like the mid to late 90s, where it's like, yeah, it's not like the smoothest experience. I'm sure at the time it was amazing, but it's not aged the best out of a lot of other games from the era, I feel like.
Yeah. It is, and this just feels petty, but it is surprisingly ugly. It is hard to look at. It is.
I mean, it looks like an N64 game.
Yeah, I know. I don't see a lot of N64 games. Yeah, I think I have the same sort of like experience when I see GoldenEye or Perfect Dark, which are games I spent a lot of time playing when I had an N64. Mm-hmm. If I see those games now, I'm like, oh, this was never really that attractive.
I had forgotten just how big the textures could be on games back then, where it's like, I can like count the pixels on this wall or whatever. Yeah. Which, I don't have a huge problem with. For me, it's more like, well, the controls could be a little more responsive. But yeah, it's not the greatest looking game. Probably at the time it was incredible, but it's been a while since this came out.
Yeah.
But it was, like I said, I had a good time with probably playing the first couple hours of this. I went through the first sort of world or level on stream after doing the tutorial, just sort of trying to figure out what typical Banjo things are, what he does. And the answer is, mostly he collects stuff that's floating in the environment. Hmm. And then I went back to it over the weekend and spent a lot of time actually in the second area. And by the time I was through with that, I felt like I had a much better grasp on everything, because you really do get thrown a lot of different abilities at the start of this, which was probably the most surprising thing about this to me. Because I always think of, like, if I haven't said it enough already, like Mario is sort of my gold standard for the 3D platformer experience, and Mario really just jumps, and he has like a few different varieties of jump. And occasionally he'll have like a backpack that shoots water or whatever. But primarily in those games, you're just jumping on stuff. And I really enjoy that because it's so like, I don't know, it just streamlines the whole experience so much. But in Banjo-Kazooie, you've got sort of like your standard jump. You've got a few variations like you would in Mario, like you have a backflip and you have a double jump, which is exciting. But then you've got like the whole conceit of the game is like there's this bird riding in your backpack that you're wearing, and the bird can like sort of carry you, help you with the double jump, and it like shoots eggs. And the bird also has its own set of moves the bird can carry Banjo around on its back and climb up hills that way. And I was just like, man, even this is just the tutorial still. And we've had to learn and practice like 4 or 5 new moves. And then they're like, oh yeah, wait till you get to the first level. I'll teach you some more moves. I was like, wait a minute. Is this how the whole game is going to be? And just learning new moves and expanding the moveset constantly? Which, is very disorienting. But it was also kind of cool on some level. It actually made me think a lot about Mario Odyssey, because that was sort of one of the new conceits of that game is you could possess monsters and then use their abilities.
Right, and they all have their own moves.
Yeah, which is interesting because I was like, well, so once Mario becomes something else, it's not really a Mario game anymore, right? You're just playing as some other weird character. But
right.
Yeah, just sort of, I didn't realize that Banjo-Kazooie, well, I mean, he's not really like stealing other characters' moves, but he's got a much more robust moveset than Mario ever had, which I was not expecting.
Yeah, there was a lot. I was, I played this a very long time ago, but I don't know that I don't know. Again, it was 1998 this came out, so it's been a while. Nuts and Bolts of Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts was the Xbox one that I think I remember spending the most time with. So my memory of this is pretty spotty, but I was surprised, like you, I think, just how much they were dumping on you in the first couple of hours of this, first couple of minutes of this game, honestly. There were these, you had to find these little checkpoints around kind of the initial open world area, and each one of the checkpoints taught you some new moveset. And you had learned a lot already, 5 or 6, like you said, and we thought we were done. So we went to the exit and he was like, oh no, you missed one. Go back and do this thing. And I'm like, oh my God, how many moves is this game going to teach you before you're allowed to go out and do more things? So it was surprising just how much there was kind of packed into that N64 controller back in the day.
Seriously, I was like, I know the N64 controller has a stupid amount of buttons on it, but it's like, I feel like we're running out of buttons here. I don't know.
We got to use them all.
Keep track of all these things. And you really do. I don't know if the L shoulder button does anything. That may be the only one that doesn't do anything at this point. But no, like after coming back to it a few days later, I felt like I was stuck at one point in the second stage. And I was just like, I've tried everything. I don't know what to do anymore. And I just forgotten one of the moves he can do. So I had to look it up, and I was like, oh, yeah, I completely forgot that you could do this one thing. And that was the solution. So that was, again, pretty unique spin on what I was expecting to be kind of a more Mario style game. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, like I said, I don't know if this, just the fact that you do spend a lot of time just exploring around and trying to track down the 5th one of those little guys so you can get your puzzle piece and move on to the next stage, is what's going to do it for me. I do like it feels very sort of like a more relaxed pace, if that makes sense, compared to something like Mario 64, because it does feel like a lot of the time you're just like wandering around the level trying to find things to do.
Yes.
Where in like Mario 64 and even the subsequent Mario 3D platformers, there's generally like an objective when you go into a stage, whether it's like a star or, I don't know, to work in Mario Odyssey. Like they would kind of tell you what you needed to do to get the next moon or whatever, right? Whether it would have like a name that would hint at what it is.
Yes, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, so it's not really that focused. And in fact, it never really does that. You're just kind of dropped off and sort of left to explore on your own devices, which is kind of fun. But it's a very different sort of approach than the Mario games typically have.
Well, and not super challenging from a combat perspective. It was not throwing, at least in the initial hours of the game that I saw you play, not throwing a lot of enemies at you. Not tasking you with a lot of like combat scenarios or anything like that. In fact, many of the enemies were avoidable. You just run around them. Yeah. So yeah, the intent it felt like with Banjo-Kazooie was not meant to be like a bopping them on the head kind of Mario style, what you call it, open world 3D platformer, but more of a exploration and collectathon, like you said.
Yeah. Which is kind of like, again, it feels a little bit more like towards the Mario Odyssey end of the spectrum, which is interesting. I feel like Banjo-Kazooie has more in common with Mario Odyssey than like Mario 64. But yeah, I mean, I never really played a platformer where you're just sort of just like hanging out, I guess, and trying to find stuff. But I feel like in general, I prefer a slightly more focused experience, or at least I really enjoy the way that Mario 64 structured it, where you're just like in there to get one very specific star, because then they can kind of tailor the level around it and like a very specific path that you need to traverse in order to get to it.
Right. Well, and I think the Mario games got very adept at just putting 3 collectibles in a level, and being very clear with you as you were finishing, or even as you were progressing. Like you clearly got the first and the third one, but somehow missed the second one because it shows them in order in your like collection screen. So yeah, I think it sort of fuels the hunt for going back and replaying it and trying to find the middle section of that level where somehow you miss the coin, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, the Mario games have evolved into not being about collecting 100 of something. Certainly there's coins and those turn to lives. That's kind of the Mario staple, but like the big collectibles in each level are less frequent and a little harder to find, it feels like sometimes.
Yeah, and I kind of like that in the Mario game. Like I like the red coins, and I forget what the equivalent was in Mario Odyssey. And it feels like there's a little bit of that going on in Banjo with like the 5 little guys. I gotta look up what those things are called. I can't keep saying that. And the actually that might have been it, because it's like the puzzle pieces are essentially stars in Banjo-Kazooie. And then I mean they're like the skulls, which is another thing, but the little guys felt like the closest analog to the red coins for me. And I kind of like doing that in
those little
Mario.
guys are called, sorry to cut you off, those little guys are called jiggies.
No, those are the puzzle pieces. Wait, are they actually called jiggies?
Okay, no, there's jiggies, musical notes, honeycomb pieces, jinjos.
Jinjos, that's it.
Okay.
Whenever you rescue one, they go Jinjo or whatever.
And mumbo tokens.
Yeah. I mean, those are the skulls. You could just call it a skull. I didn't realize they had a proper label. Okay, but the Jinjos feel the most like the red coins. I like the red coins because they're like, I feel like they reward sort of your familiarity with a level, in the same way that like the 3 big coins reward you in the 2D Mario games, where you can kind of think like, okay, I know what this level looks like. Where would I hide like 8 significant objects? And you sort of use that as like a guide to lead you to the red coins. Mm-hmm. So I like that because it sort of gives you another excuse to explore. The thing that is frustrating about Banjo-Kazooie is that the draw distance in this game, and I hate to be like, I hate to call out like technical issues with it, but the draw distance is so short that you can barely see anything beyond like, I don't know, like 50 feet away from your character. So whereas in another game you could look around the map and be like, oh yeah, there's a red coin all the way over there. Sometimes you just don't see collectibles in this game until you're like right in front of it.
Yeah.
And so like that's not good in a collectathon kind of game.
That's
and it's disappointing.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it's disappointing that was just a limitation of the hardware that they ran into while making this game, because obviously that's not by design. They just I read something about having to decrease the draw distance so much because otherwise the frame rate would have been even worse than it already honestly is. Mm. So yeah, it's just a unfortunate case of when this came out.
Yeah. I mean, to do something that is analogous to an open world, a mini open world anyways, but to do sort of a confined area that you're exploring and looking in the corners of, I think on the N64 was probably a challenging developmental task. But I think the to your point, the Mario Odyssey uses the ability to sort of see things at a great distance to its advantage a lot. There's the little little goggles or binoculars that you can possess that launch way up in the air and allow you to see super far away. And from there, you can sort of see sometimes a moon or whatever, like 100 miles away. And your objective then becomes, how do I get to that thing very far over there?
Yeah.
The Donkey Kong Bonanza has almost a similar thing where he can get into a barrel cannon and it shoots him straight up in the air. And at the top of the height of his sort of like ascension, it sort of slows it to slow motion, allows you to look around at the whole level.
Cool.
And from there, you can usually see like a little banana or something like that. There's some collectible that you missed before that you're trying to get to. So yeah, certainly the 30 years separate these two games that we're talking about, but it's interesting how the ability to see further away has changed the way that they approach these games.
Yeah. I was surprised to see that there was never like a remaster of this. At least as far as I could tell, there was like a fan remaster of some kind. But I would have thought like, oh, maybe because they re-released this on like Xbox as part of that collection.
Yeah,
like, that would have been an opportunity, or maybe they just would have made one since in the time between now and like 1998 or whatever, that maybe could have fixed some of the technical limitations. But no, apparently the one on the Rare collection is. I mean, it sounds like it runs similar to the original, so that the draw distance issue is still present. So that's a shame. It's kind of got me curious about like, okay, so I kind of understand how Banjo-Kazooie works now. I'd be really interested in playing like a later version that doesn't have these issues, and it's also been sort of like they've refined the formula a little bit. And see what that's like see if I would enjoy that experience more. I was like, maybe I should play Banjo-Kazooie 2? Or no, what is it called? Banjo-Tooie?
Banjo-Tooie, yep.
But then I also read that people actually don't like that one. So I'm like, oh, what happened there? Maybe, does that make me more likely to play it? I don't know. But I don't know, maybe I'll play Nuts and Bolts or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it's an interesting format, but the fact that it's running on an N64, even though the Switch emulator does a pretty good job like up-resing it, I would just like to play a slightly more streamlined version.
Yeah, I think there's a crowd for that, and there's a history of that. What's the developer that does it? Toys for Bob, Games for Bob has remastered, did the Spyro trilogy, and then did the Crash Bandicoot one. And I think both of those were pretty well received. I played the hell out of that Spyro trilogy. So, I think there is a flavor for getting your hands on some of these older games, but with more modern conveniences built into them. I'm not sure why Rare has not pursued that. Maybe they don't own the rights. Maybe there's a licensing issue.
Yeah, I was wondering like maybe that could have been part of it. I don't know how involved Nintendo was in getting this out originally, but I mean, it's, again, I was surprised that they never did anything approaching sort of just a remaster. But in general, Banjo-Kazooie, didn't hate it. I can see why people were so into it back in the day, while I was too busy playing like Final Fantasy VIII, or no, like what is it? Oh, 1998, Parasite Eve. There we go. I had other stuff going
on. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I am disposed to like these games, or predisposed to liking these games. And even I thought sort of the experience of playing Banjo-Kazooie was rough. So, I don't have a love for this series in the way that I do the Sly Coopers and Jack and Daxters. So, it's still a little bit of an enigma to me. Crash Bandicoot was similar. I was never a Crash fan. So it was only upon the re-release 2-3 years ago that I actually kind of got my hands on those games for the first time. Sonic 2. Sonic is a bit of an enigma to me. I think that game is more about speed, and I never want to play these games fast. I just want to like kind of look around in every corner and bop every box, and I can't abide by any game where you're going so fast that you miss collectibles. I'm like, oh no. Slow down. Go back. I want to get that stuff.
Yeah. There was a great, oh man, who put it in the Discord? Was it, I think it was Super Leaf posted a clip from one of the Donkey Kong Donkey Kong Country Returns games, where it's like one of the minecart sequences or one of the underground sequences or whatever. And seeing that was just like, it was kind of like just like unlock something in my brain, because in the clip he's like, he's doing like stuff I remember doing from Donkey Kong Country. He's like bouncing on enemies to like over a bottomless pit and jumping in all these barrels, and the timing in the clip is so specific though. Like if he were to have missed one of those jumps, he would have just fallen into the pit and had to restart the level. And I was like, oh, maybe that's probably why I don't really care for the later Donkey Kong games, and probably the like any Sonic game as well, because at some point they just feel so like autopilot, like you just or more like choreographed, I think. Because you have to do this very specific sequence of jumps, or in Sonic's case, you like jump into a half pipe or whatever, and it bounces you off all these different bumpers, and you just kind of like watch it for a while. And like, that's just not really what I want out of a platformer.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, maybe that's why I just never got into like Sonic and the later Donkey Kong Country games.
Yeah, I don't love those other Donkey Kong games either, but I've never loved Donkey Kong games. So until now, that's a bit of an enigma for me too.
Did you play Donkey Kong Country on the Super NES? Which is it's kind of a ridiculous question, but maybe you played it on like the Virtual Console or the little, I think it was on the mini console?
Probably played it on the mini console briefly, because I definitely had that and plugged it in and played everything on it for some period of time. But no, I think the only one that I played, what was the one that they sort of re-released for the DS or the 3DS? Donkey Kong Country Returns, right? Returns. Yeah, that's the one I played.
Yeah, I didn't love that one.
No, I didn't either. Yeah, there are minecart sequences in Donkey Kong Bonanza, but you're really just going in a loop. So there's no threat of you falling to your death. You can fail, because usually they use them as boss battles, and you're riding the cart around and throwing bombs or whatever, explosives at enemies. And you have to switch tracks at exactly the right time. Which feels very Ratchet and Clank, because there's a lot of kind of grinding on rails. Ratchet inevitably gets these boots that allow him to rail grind, and you have to hop between. What happens if you don't
switch at the right time?
You fall to your death.
Oh no, that's not what I want to hear.
Yeah. So there's definitely, I mean, Spyro has the flying segments that you can't sort of go back. So if you miss something, you have to do a big loop and fly back again. And so yeah, I think all of these games inevitably had some version of an auto runner or on rail segment that is the least fun version of that game.
Okay. Well, I feel like stuff like that appeals to certain audiences.
Yeah.
And I'm just not one of those, not a member of those audiences, unfortunately.
It's funny, I blocked them all out until I played the Spyro collection again, and I was like, flying. I forgot about these. Yeah. So the flying sequences are terrible in that game. I hate them. Yeah. But I'm sure there's somebody out there who is like, yes, the flying in Spyro is the best.
Yeah.
These masochists
at least
who
one
love
of those
Sonic games. Yeah.
Well, the people really love those minecart sequences.
Yeah.
Not about that. Anyway, Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah. I would love for you to play one of the more modern Ratchet and Clank games if you're ever down for that. That sounded salacious.
Which is the latest one? It was like the PS5 one?
Yeah. Rift Apart?
I'll look into it. How about that?
It's quite good. It's very good.
That's what they say.
I don't think it's the gold standard, but it's really good.
What's the gold standard? I'm going to play that one.
A Crack in Time.
Okay.
Instead of a Ratchet and Clank Future, a Crack in Time. That's my favorite one. That, as far as I'm concerned, is the best Ratchet and Clank game.
I have to plug in my PS3 or something.
It might be backwards compatible.
Okay, well, I'll figure something out.
Yeah,
but noted.
Yeah, and Rift Apart is good.
Okay,
don't get me wrong. I would consider it an accomplishment if you played any of them.
Okay, well, in that case, maybe for Extra Life this year, I'll do some Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, nice. All right. Hades. So Super Giant Games?
I think so.
Does that sound right? Yep. It's certainly a Super Giant game. No, I like it. I don't want to give anybody the wrong impression. I really like it, but it is much harder and much more combat oriented than most of the games that I tend to play these days. So while there are things over the last couple of years that I've enjoyed that have been more combat focused, Death's Door. I really like Death's Door. That was good, and that's a lot of combat. Certainly the newer Zelda games, there's a lot more sort of fighting in those than I generally will tolerate in a game. So I occasionally get a taste for that kind of a video game. But the roguelike structure of Hades is a little challenging for me. I get that it's sort of part of the appeal of the game. So the short version of this, essentially, for those who have not played Hades, is that you are Zagreus. You are Hades' son, and you are trying to get out of hell. So that you can be reunited with your mother, who I think is Persephone. If that sounds correct.
I think so. Yeah,
maybe.
Should have refreshed on Wikipedia. Up.
Yeah. I got to play God of War again. Hold on. And to do this, you have to fight your way through kind of the levels of hell to be able to escape. As you're fighting your way out, across tons of rooms with tons of different enemies and collectibles and pickups and different weapons that you get to explore, other gods will send you boons, little things that help you with attempting some of these runs. It's usually some different little power up or a different weapon, or you have a special that you can use briefly. So you get kind of fun little new ways of approaching this lather, rinse, repeat kind of approach to the game. It's fun, and it's kind of softball for the first couple of attempts. There's some dumb death where I'm like, oh, I know exactly what I did wrong there. Let me do it again. And lather, rinse, repeat, go back, try it again. Zagreus sort of climbs out of a pool of blood and shakes off and, goes to his armory and checks in with a couple of other friends and et cetera, et cetera. And then you start fighting your way back out again. You die, loop back to the beginning, try all over again. You don't get to carry any of the weapons and stuff back with you, but some of the unlocks are persistent. Some of the weapons are you have access to them in your armory again.
Yeah.
So it's roguelite, I guess, in that way. It's not a complete start over from scratch. But it's it's tough. It is a lot of enemies on screen at once. It's the thing that I sort of generally associate with supermassive games, where it's like you can't leave the room until you've killed everybody. For a little while it's fun, but the further I got into the runs, and the harder and harder it got, and the more and more enemies there were, and the more and more rooms there were until I could progress, it just seemed to get really quite difficult and quite overwhelming.
Yeah, it does get quite difficult. And it really feels like, in the same way that you would build a deck or build towards like some ideal deck in Slay the Spire of a lot of cards that like synergize with each other. You're kind of doing the same thing with all the boons that you get, where you're like, oh, if I just keep building in sort of this direction, I'll have an ability set that works really well. But in fact, there's not a lot you can do sort of like to like level up your guy to make him stronger each time. I think it really comes down to like player skill as part of it, but also how effective of a build can you create. Which takes
with some of these. I'm sorry to cut you up, but like some of these sort of like seemingly, I don't know if they're random, if the boons are scripted and given to you at the same point every time you play, or if they kind of randomly occur. But it does feel like sometimes I get runs where I feel like, oh man, I'm impossible to stop. I am a killing machine. And then the next one, I'm just like fighting for my life. Just like can't make any progress at all. So I'm not sure.
It's random.
Is it random? Okay, it feels random.
I think they're like, I think there are like a few different types of upgrades you can get. Like whenever you leave a room, you get a choice of upgrades. Is that right? And you can see based on whatever the symbol on the door is, like who the upgrade is going to be coming from, and based on that, once you sort of like learn to recognize those, you can kind of anticipate what type of upgrade it might be, or like what pool of upgrades. Or like what pool the upgrades will come from, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, there is still a lot of randomness to it, so you kind of have to work with what you get.
Yeah. Well, and that is some of that experience of going through the loops becomes super crucial because the game deliberately doesn't teach you anything. Like it doesn't really tell you like what the symbols on the doors mean, and you can only go through like. I thought it, again, my sort of intuition with any game with exploration is like, well, I'll go down the left path until I get to a point of no return, and then I'll come back and I'll try the right path.
Oh, no.
And you can't do that in this game. There's no going back. You really have to just keep going forward. So, and it doesn't tell you what the symbols on the door mean until you play through it 4 or 5 times and you start to figure it out for yourself. So, a lot of that is true of the weapons and unlocks and stuff like that. And the enemies that you encounter all have different sort of types of attacks and the way that they sort of appear in groups and things like that. And you don't know anything the first time you see a monster, of course. So by the 50th time you've seen them, you know exactly how they're going to attack and what they're going to do and how to approach them. But again, that's where sort of the roguelike structure sort of becomes an asset rather than a bug.
Yeah. I think that actually worked really well in its favor, because normally I don't like the type of roguelike where you are just like making like the very the smallest amount of like incremental progress each time you play. Like, I didn't make it this time, but next time I will be like 0.5% stronger. So I only have to do this loop like 2,000 more times and we'll be good. But I like in this case, you reset and you kind of, it's like an excuse to make different choices the next times. You can say like, okay, so there was this cool ability that I didn't pick last time. If that comes up again, maybe I'll try that and see if that's better. But a lot of it is really just like, you really have to just roll with whatever they throw at you, because you're not guaranteed to get the same combination that worked really well for you a couple runs ago.
Right.
So I think normally that would be kind of frustrating to me, because I like to have that one like miracle build that you just have that really great run with, and you want to just have that all the time. But the likelihood of that happening again is very close to 0. So eventually you just learn to like adapt and be like, yeah, maybe this will be better than that last run that I had with because I'm choosing different abilities that I never tried before.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the thing that I like the most about the daily challenges in Slay the Spire is that they really kind of crank the randomness up pretty significantly and kind of break the rules a little bit so that you get artifacts that you don't generally get early in the game. Otherwise, that sort of change some of the conditions or the way that you heal or when you can heal or how you can remove cards from your deck or add cards to your deck. And I think it changes the approach of the game significantly. And there are some daily challenges I do in Slay the Spire where I get 2 or 3 stops into the map and I'm just wiped out. And I'm like, well, that one didn't work out. And I'm just, they're some of them, the best ones, the most fun ones, where I'm just sort of like an unstoppable killing machine and working my way to the top of the tower. It just feels crazy. And you realize that it's just because the game is broken, essentially. Like there's some weird confluence of events and factors that have come into play in this daily challenge that you wouldn't normally replicate or be able to replicate in the course of a normal game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of fun in that way. Hades never quite felt that random. It still felt very sort of controlled. It definitely had sort of a script it was trying to get me through.
It didn't feel random, you said?
Well, I mean, like the appearance of some of those things felt very random, but I don't know. It never ever felt as, like I said, occasionally I would have runs where I felt like I was like impossible to kill, but those were few and far between, and it never quite felt broken in the way that some of those daily challenges And I say broken like it's a bad thing. The broken ones in Slay the Spire are super fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those are the ones you want, where you just like, oh yeah, everything is like coming together perfectly.
Yeah, so. This is ridiculous. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it never felt like the randomness was quite as silly in Hades.
Yeah. I think those types of runs were rarer in Hades, at least for me. Than they were in Slay the Spire. But I mean, a lot of it is just like RNG, essentially. Like maybe you'll just never have a great run, and that's just bad luck. But I feel like if you just keep at it, you'll start to have like you'll get those lucky runs more frequently, but you'll also become more knowledgeable about sort of the options that you can get presented with, and so you'll be better at building like a skill set or an ability set or whatever that works better for you. I don't know if I ever like landed on a specific weapon or like one type of build that I would work towards in Hades. Like I think I remember having a few runs that had kind of like a chain lightning kind of skill or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's like good in any game, I feel like. But I was like, ooh, I'll do a little chain lightning, or you could get, I forget if this had like thorns in it, where it's like the damage reflect or whatever. That's also pretty good. But yeah, I mean, you didn't get that every single time. So it really felt like, I mean, I wish I could do chain lightning all the time, but most of the time you just have to figure out some other combination of stuff.
Yeah. Well, in there's a push-pull to all of these things because the chain lightning, at least in my experience thus far, is tied to the bow and arrow that you get occasionally. And that is a slower weapon that requires you being further away. So you definitely have to be a little more planful. And it has a charge up too. So the longer you can kind of pull that bow back and hold it, the more powerful that chain effect is going to be. But meanwhile, everything's trying to mow you down and get up in your face. So it's definitely, it's not a auto win scenario by any stretch.
Yeah. That sounds familiar. Yeah, maybe I use the bow.
Yeah. I did eventually. I had complained in our Discord about how much I liked it, but it was proving to be quite difficult. And through some exploration, I found that there is not necessarily a button where you can sort of put on like easy mode, but it does have a God mode. And when I saw God mode in the initial settings, I assumed it was like the hardest difficulty. And I'm like, I certainly don't want that.
Oh, no.
It sounds like a crushing difficulty or something like that. But what it actually is, it is sort of their version of a play on an easier mode, or an easier mode anyways, where it increases your defense initially by 20%. And every time you die, it increases that number by 2%.
Oh, I think that might be the thing I was thinking of, where there's no way for you to just, you gain a level every single time, but like you can become like 1% stronger or something like that.
Right. 2% every death, up to a max of 80%. And I'm like, well, my instinct is just put it on 80% because that's where I'm probably going to have the most fun with this game. But you
it'll
have
actually
to die.
Oh, no, okay, never mind. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, you can't do that. You have to die a lot of times to get there. You have to die 60 times. Oh, no, probably have to die 30 times, I guess, if the math works.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like the difference between having 20% better defense and 22% does not feel substantial. But as you get further and further into this kind of lather, rinse, repeat death cycle, you start to notice you're holding your own a little bit longer too. So, yeah, I kind of like that. I would encourage people that if you're like me in the way that you approach these games, maybe just put that on from the beginning. I didn't. So I was not earning my 2 points every time for quite a few of the earlier runs, but it has made the game a little more fun to just kind of barrel my way through.
I really like that.
Yeah,
that was the approach they took, because it's a pretty difficult game. So to not have any sort of assist like that is probably going to like stop a lot of people from getting too far. But it's also not just like, yeah, flip the switch to do 3 times as much damage, and you don't take as much damage or whatever. You just sort of like the way it gradually builds up, I think is really smart, because it encourages you to keep playing over and over. And hopefully as you're doing that, you're just building up your own natural sort of like skills and knowledge about the game. And if you play it for long enough, like you get a fairly substantial bonus, but also it doesn't sound like it's completely game breaking either once it hits the cap.
Right. Yeah. I think, for a game that is meant to be consumed this way, which is sort of dying a lot, that tying the ability to make the game easier to that death cycle is probably the smartest way to approach it.
Yeah.
Whereas, if it was level 1 and you're 80% stronger, like I think that would feel a little game breaking, and it would make that run a lot longer, and the likelihood of you sort of going through that death cycle would be slimmer and slimmer. So this still gets you to the point where you die and come back and are smarter about the way that you play the game, but it gives you a little bit more of a fighting chance every time. So I think it's a pretty shrewd way to sort of address it in a roguelike setting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a mixed bag, because I wish I could feel more confident when I play it, but every time I pick up my Switch, I'm just sort of like, oh, I got to fight my way through a few more rounds of Hades so I can talk about it on the show. But I really, in general, I enjoy it. Like, I love the dialogue. It's beautifully written. All of the Supergiant games are.
Yeah.
There's some really, really good voice acting. The music is fantastic. Like, it is like a polished Supergiant product that I would sort of expect from those developers. It's just definitely putting up a fight in terms of my level of enjoyment of it.
Yeah. I remember being surprised at how funny it was.
Oh, yeah.
Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah. It has some very sort of modern sensibilities in its dialogue. It's definitely doing the Greek god thing, but they're kind of witty and catty. And of course, there's all these sort of like the infighting and bullshit that goes on between all of the gods. But Zagreus is sort of self-deprecating and smarmy, and he's a bit of a rebellious teenager too, so he doesn't have any patience for adults, and et cetera, et cetera. It's just, it's good. There's some really kind of smart writing. I took a lot of screenshots as I was playing through it, because some of the little lines, little one-liners were really smart and kind of surprisingly funny. So, it's good. It's a good game.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Did you meet the little the Medusa heads yet? Not Medusa, but the little like weird like anime heads that fly around?
Oh, that doesn't sound familiar.
Oh, okay. Oh man, I love that character.
It's,
it's like completely different, like tonally, than like any of the other characters, but it's just so weird. It's like, why is this in this game? It's very silly. That's good. Something to look forward to, hopefully.
Definitely.
Man, I'm kind of more excited to play Hades 2. Or maybe I should just go back and do another run through this.
That's been out in like early access or something, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was pretty well received, but I was just thinking, I think Hades 1 went through a similar process where it was in early access for a while. I just decided, like, I'll just wait for them to like finish it. That's my approach to most early access stuff these days.
Yeah, that seems fair.
I think it's out this year, though. If it didn't already come out, I think it's supposed to be final this year. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah. I don't know if I need more of it. Maybe I'll feel differently if I start making some really good progress and feel like I'm kind of eking out something that feels like a successful run. But right now, every time I die, I just sort of like, oh, stupid. What did I do?
Yeah. I mean, when I finally had a successful run, I don't think I was like, oh yeah, now I need Hades 2 immediately. And I think that was sort of my reaction when they announced it, because it's, I don't think they ever did like a direct sequel before either, which was kind of contentious. So I was like, I don't know if I need Hades 2 ever, but now just hearing you talk about it again, it's like, oh, maybe I do need more Hades. I don't know.
Maybe it's time.
Yeah. I want to know, like, mainly I want to know why she's got like a skeleton arm. Like, what's going on with that?
Cool. So yeah, what else? You had mentioned obviously that you have Anthem and Unreal coming up. I still have 2 games left on my backlog attack. Those are The Plucky Squire and RoboCop Rogue City. So tune in future episodes for those as well.
I'm really curious about RoboCop. I want them to just do something like incredibly high concept with he's got like the 3 directives or whatever. But I'm sure you just spent a lot of time shooting people. But I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, I've started it. I won't spoil it, but it's quite satisfying.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Cool. So don't forget, DJ will be streaming this weekend. Friday night, he's doing Unreal at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Does that sound right, DJ?
Yeah, it'll probably be like a morning thing, but I'll
gotcha.
Put details in the Discord.
Got it. And then...
Yeah, next week, Monday, will be Anthem.
Yep. August 25th, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Our usual every other Monday time slot for streaming. Twitch.tv/VGHangover. You can always go to our Discord for details on that.
Yeah.
On both of those, in fact. If you need any more video game hangover in your brain, in the meantime, definitely follow us on Blue Sky. We are VGHangover.com there. And you can always get show notes and links and tell us what you thought about the episode at VGHangover.com as well. If you want to join the Discord, you can get a link to that. Discord.
One of those things.
Do not discard the Discord. Yeah. You can get a link to that at VGHangover.com. And we would encourage you to subscribe, rate, and review us on your podcasting app of choice. We would love you to tell your friends about the show as well. That would help us out.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. Helps us bring in more new listeners. Then all those new listeners can tell Randy their recommended Hades builds and finally help him escape from hell.
You call it a build like I'm like in the armory in the beginning going, I want this gun and this knife. And
yeah, well, I mean, is that what that's called? Or what are you describing? Yeah, that's like it's like your loadout or something.
Yeah. Yes. But they're pretty scripted. They're not really like,
I don't think
here are 10 weapons. Pick the one you like the most.
Yeah, but they're like not scripted, are they? I mean, you get them at the when you clear a room or like a.
Maybe I'm kind of confusing it with the boons because the boons are kind of like accidental or random.
The boons, yeah. Okay, yeah. I think there's like a couple different things going on, so maybe I'm thinking of the other thing. Anyway,
maybe I just played a different game.
It's like, it's a first-person shooter, right? That's the Hades you're playing. It's a deck building game. I don't know.
I killed all the vampires. You didn't get any vampires?
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the vampires to show up. Anyway, speaking about vampires, I want to give thanks again to RJ Lake this week for our intro and outro music. If you'd like to hear more of his work, you can go to spellmynamewithabang.bandcamp.com and download that whole discography. There might be some vampires in there too.
Definitely. We'll be back soon. Until that was really non-specific. We'll be back some Friday
point.
and Monday with streaming, and then in 2 weeks with a whole new episode. Until then, this is Randy Dickinson.
This is DJ Ross.
Thanks for listening to Video Game Hangover. Goodbye.
Good night.
See ya.